So I've come to the conclusion that I need to have a safe space for my creative work because, well, it's safer. Plus, it also helps me be more creative. The first project that I've decided to work on is the giant crack that goes all the way from this wall to that back door. Front door, back door. It's to my back. Before I could get started, I needed to do a little bit of research on the project, like what was going to be the proper way to get this done. And so that was going to take some time. And in the meantime, I decided to rearrange this space a little bit so that I could still work in here while I figured out what I was going to do about the crack. Coincidentally, my wife bought a brand new desk, so I took her desk and I brought it out here. And now this is my workstation. I'm pointing down here because it's here even though you don't see it. I promise you it's here. I don't know how well you can tell, but it's pretty wide open here, and part of that is because I moved a bunch of stuff outside so I could get it open. Really, it's just a matter of like, number one, getting rid of some things, and number two, figuring out like how I want to rearrange this space. And I think I have a decent idea. There's just some things I still need to finalize, but I'm getting very close to a layout that's going to work for me. One of the recent developments, or semi-recent development, is that we've got a full-size refrigerator in the studio here now. We have one of those small little refrigerators, but because our boy is growing and eats eggs like they're going out of business, and yes, they're expensive, that's why we buy them at Costco, compensating for that thing a little bit, that's taking up a little bit of space. But it's also a blessing because I have food on demand, which is also a little bit of a curse because I have food on demand. But if I had a coffee maker in here and maybe a couch, I'd probably never leave. And the beauty of me getting this arranged is that now I had a space to work that felt good, and I started working out here more. Even though I hadn't started on the crack, I was out here editing videos, I was writing my stories, I was working on some art projects. I was having a great time, and it was like, this is so good. I love having this space back. If you didn't see the first video where I talked about this, one of the things that I had was I was working up against this workbench that's over here. It wasn't a comfortable spot to work on. I didn't have a desk anymore because my old desk was just, it was basically just a garage for a very long period of time because I wasn't comfortable working out here. But now it's great and I love it until I fucked it up. I did. I messed it up, but on purpose, so that I could work on the crack. Because I finally did my research, I was ready to move on, and so I had to start moving things around, and when I moved things around, I was no longer comfortable working in here again. Even over the last several days I've been getting this crack fixed, I have been very unproductive creatively because I just, again, didn't feel like I could work in here at this moment. Because there's a bunch of other stuff going on, and I don't know, it just, when I go back into the house to work, it just felt, meh. That's exactly how it felt, meh. That's a dictionary word. You should go look it up. Yeah, so I was disrupted, but it had to be done because really, it wasn't a safe space for me to be in. I would be rolling around in a chair, whether it was a stool or my regular chair, and my wheel would hit that crack and I would go, tumbling over. I would put up one of my lights with the tripod or the tripod here on the camera, and I would accidentally put one leg into the crack and then the whole tripod would tumble over. That happened a few times. But I wasn't just fixing this for a safety issue. It almost felt like I was fixing this to fix the cracks in my creative process. Once that crack is finished and I can get things back arranged the way I want them, then I can get back to that creativity that I'm so eager to do. But let's talk about what I actually did with the floor. But I should give you one caveat. I'm not a professional by any stretch of the imagination. I pulled all of my information off of videos that I saw from actual professionals or people who have done this numerous other times. What I did shouldn't even be considered good, but good enough. So the first step was to actually clean the floor because it gets pretty dusty and dirty in here, and so I needed to get this all cleaned up because I wanted to have a relatively clean environment, which is ironic because the next step was actually me cleaning the crack itself, which got it all dirty again. I pretty much cleaned it out good. The next thing I need to do is go through the edge and do this for every single part of that all the way from, I do have some other chiseling I gotta do. At some point, somebody put some sort of compound or mortar in there and didn't do a very good job, and it goes all the way back there. And so I need to get rid of that stuff. I thought my job was done and taking stuff out, but it's not. Cleaning the edges of the crack is important because what I'm laying inside is gonna need some kind of rough edge to hold on to. If it was just like, just smooth, which none of it really is. But if it was just smooth concrete, then the sealant wouldn't quite seal correctly, so we don't want that. The next step was to fill a little bit of the crack with this play sand, because that's going to be the first layer where the pool noodle is going to sit on top of to fill up the gap. Okay, day 2, and as you can see, I already started moving in on the crack here with the pool noodle and all that stuff. Basically, I filled up a little bit of sand in there and then just cut the pool noodle down until it's just below the line of the concrete. I've done maybe 2.5 feet there, so I've got another 16 or more feet to do. I would say maybe halfway, maybe a little bit further than halfway, but on the back half of everything. I got the pool noodle all worked out. I probably should have gone back in and kind of lowered some of the high spots there, but I was just like, you know what? It's going to be good enough. And that really is the moral of the story here. Good enough because I am so eager to get back to work. Fixing this crack is very important, but it's not going to hold the whole place together. In fact, it's not even the most critical aspect of what's happening in this shed, but it's a good start. And it doesn't have to be perfect because there's a lot of things that, just are never going to be that way. Now, while I was dealing with the pool noodle, I came to the realization that I had the wrong sealant. 2 mistakes. The first being that I didn't buy semi-self-leveling. I got self-leveling sealant. Not the worst thing in the world, but there's a slight difference about how they work. Whereas this one will just lay flat and you won't be able to get it to rise up, like if the things are uneven, which if you looked at the floor, things are very uneven. The self-leveling has a tendency to be able to be built up a little bit, so I don't have like extra piece of the concrete sticking up. That's what I'm trying to avoid. So I bought the wrong product, but I didn't realize that until I already cut one of these open. So I can take 2 of the tubes back that I've got, but I'm gonna have to get rid of this one. I don't need it, so I'm just gonna toss it. Which sucks, because that's like 15 bucks down the drain. Now, of course, Home Depot didn't have what I needed, and neither did Lowe's, and neither did the Ace Hardware down the street, but I had to do something, so I ordered it on Amazon, and it was gonna take several days to get here. So again, 3 more days of not really having any creative energy going on. But eventually the sealant did come in. Unfortunately, it was bigger than the gun I had. This was the gun I had. This was the gun I needed. But I had to go get this at my local hardware store. And while I was doing that, it started to rain. And because it was raining so much, I couldn't move all the furniture out in order to finish the job. So things were a little bit cumbersome when I finally started. I was just so tired of waiting that I just went ahead and moved forward with the project and maneuvered my way through the furniture. Now I'm at this stage, and actually I've already been at this stage. I started doing this already and I got a good portion of it finished, and I forgot the camera, but then I had a bunch of stuff on my hands, and so I couldn't touch the camera until I at least finished the first tube, went and washed my hands a little bit. They're still a little bit sticky, but I don't want to touch the camera too much. But we got to finish up. Here, this is what it kind of looks like right now. I don't know if that's going to be in focus or not. I'm not even paying attention. But that's good. I've still got to get to that end down there. And then, of course, this bit right here. So I finished putting the sealant in, and as it dried, it started to dry as a lighter gray, which I wasn't particularly fond of. I decided to throw a bunch of sand on top of it while it was still sticky, and that kind of created this kind of tooth to the whole thing, and also darkened it up a little bit, making it match the floor a little bit better than it was before. By the way, I don't remember if I filmed that sand part, which will be obvious if I don't have the sand part here, but you just assume that that's what I did. And then I waited, and I waited, and I waited. It was supposed to be about a 4-hour drying time, but I gave it a little bit extra time because it was very wet outside. And there was moisture and just cold, and so it wasn't going to dry quickly. So it took about a day and a half for me to really feel confident about coming back in here. Plus, it also smelled like chemicals, like bad. Like bad. Even before I came in here to film this, I had to open up the door just to kind of let things air out. I mean, I don't smell it now, but when my wife walked in here to check out the crack, she's like, oh, it smells so bad in here. So I don't know, maybe it's already gone to my head and I've killed all my brain cells and I just don't smell things anymore. I laid down the sand, I cleaned it again, and now here we are. And I'm pretty happy with the result. And I even tested it by rolling a chair over it without falling over. Again, it's not perfect, but then nothing in here is. This studio will never be perfect. The only way it will be perfect is if I scrape the entire thing, relay a new foundation, and build something more structurally sound. The most important part is that I'm ready to get back to work because I have this wide open space, it's a little bit more clean, and it's safer-ish. So I get to go back to being my creative self, which means more creative projects, which is cool, but not before I finish the next studio project, which is the workbench, which is right over here. And then I've got a tool wall that I want to build. So those are the next 2 studio projects, but I'll try to squeeze in some creative projects in between. Stick around, go down and make sure that you have subscribed so you don't miss those. And then if you enjoyed this video, leave me a comment. Tell me something that you want to see me work on, once I finish, putting roller skates on the workbench. If you want to know more about what I'm doing here, watch this video right here, okay? Also subscribe and comment below. Okay, thanks, bye!